Arthur here, and this is Watch and Learn. We watch films and
teach English. Brew cuppa. We're about to start.
Hello, Watch and Learners. So, as usual, this is Arthur.
And Xenia. Hi, everyone.
And we're here for our 8th episode already.
Yes, oh my god. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a while at the same time. It's like 8 already. Crazy.
Super productive. What are we doing today? What are we talking about?
So today we've come to you with the debut by, I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but I guess Fleur Fortuné or Fleur Fortuné. It's debut, so we don't know anything absolutely about this director. And the story is written by some 3 guys. Again, they don't even have a Wikipedia page. So we don't know much about them.
Fleur Fortuné, something like, is she French? I don't know.
Probably. There's this kind of like a weird E at the end of the,
Oh, it means you have to do an accent there, like Fortuné.
Okay, so she's Fleur Fortuné, I guess.
Okay.
And again, the story has been written by some 3 guys. And this is the movie that we at some point posted about on our Telegram channel. Please subscribe. As a soon to be in the cinema kind of a post. And when I first learned about that, and I think you too probably, we got pretty interested into that concept. Yeah, that was in the description of the movie, in the trailer in general, right? And just decided to try and watch it for the pod. And good or not, we'll get there. But it's worth discussing, definitely. Because it's, it explores some interesting ideas, and some of them are pretty, how to say, hot, maybe. But, one thing after another. So, what was your general impression?
It was pleasant, yeah. I like this style. It reminds me of the Black Mirror. I'm a huge fan of the series. And this feeling you get that it's kind of this future world that kind of looks like ours, but with some minor differences. But it's not so fantastic. Like, we still understand what is going on, how it works and stuff like that. So this was my first thought. Okay, looks like Black Mirror. I like it. I'm gonna watch. And the other thing was this kind of dystopic stuff that I personally just really like. I'm a huge fan of 1984, Aldous Huxley. I've just finished a couple days ago Xenia. So I'm a fan of such topics. And for me, it never ends. This idea, you can forever discuss what happens in the future when there's some society, there's the problem of a planet that has no resources anymore, and some kind of controlling government that has control over basically everything in your life, including if you can or if you can't have a baby, for example. So, and you, what was your overall impression?
I didn't have any expectations. I was just intrigued by the very idea that people have to go through certain assessment. By the way, we haven't mentioned the name of the movie.
That's
The assessment by Fleur Fortuné. Sorry.
Yeah.
Funny. Well, it's morning here right now.
Also, you can feel that we're not reading a script. It's all live and real and natural, you know, us forgetting
yeah,
stuff.
we're like unprepared as you can
Absolutely.
get. So yeah, my attention was mostly on like this specific idea. People go into a certain test to prove that they can be parents. And this is not the first time I actually heard about such a concept. Before, unfortunately, I don't remember his name, but there's this pretty, how to say, popular figure in true crime side of the Russian internet, Russian YouTube. The guy who hosted a lot of videos about not just Russia-based, but also some other, like, world maniacs, serial killers, maybe not serial, but killers with certain, weird stories. And as a person who is a psychiatrist by education, he knows these things. So he studied a lot of like cases of serial killers and murderers. So the point is that he knows that a lot of people who at some point resorted to killing, murdering, and other horrific stuff, the seed, in their trauma was planted in the childhood. And several times I heard him like in videos, shorts, reels, advocating for this idea that he truly believes that even now, in our world, right now, like yesterday, people should, before becoming parents, they should go through maybe not a test as we watch in the movie, which I will definitely talk about, but a certain psychiatric evaluation, just to probably potentially avoid, making more maniacs in the future.
Doesn't that mean that anyone who hasn't passed a psychiatric evaluation can't have a baby? Can be like restricted on this, right? Because if yes, this is something that's been said by other people in the past, like schizophrenic people were basically sterilized so they can't have babies, So it's a very difficult discussion there. If what kind of evaluation this is?
That is true. I mean, this question is not that I'm like supporting the idea,
Right.
but because it makes sense in one things, it doesn't in other things. Now that you're asking, like, what's going to happen to people who just do not? Why I'm saying Ghana? What would happen to people who didn't pass the test? And well, maybe they could go through certain therapy or something like that. Just yesterday or today, I don't remember. There was like a stand-up bit about, like in the audience, there was a woman, a therapist, and she created an application, a dating application, in which before you have a right to start looking for a partner, you have to go through a 74 questionnaire, 74 questions test. And the funny part was that if according to the test, you are not ready for dating, you get a reference to the therapist. So I guess, I mean, this is funny and like not that serious, but in the question of proving if you're a good parent or not, and if you fail, a hypothetical test, right? Yeah, you could, like, I don't know, be given maybe even for free, like some therapy to solve your issues. But I'm just, like in hypothetical situations, I hate them. It's very difficult to navigate ideas in this sort of area.
True.
Anyway, I was drawn, to that. But the movie is not just about this. There is a lot of other, to my taste, even maybe too much, to be honest. But yeah, there's also exploration of like ecological problems, and you said that it's like some planet. I believe it's Earth. I mean, because there's a scene when they have some guests over, and there's this woman, childless woman, single woman, and she's this kind of like angry, and she remembers the past, like she remembers what it used to be, and just from what she said, I just kind of felt that there is still Earth, but
of course, I agree.
Yeah, but somehow like the most of the planet is just, it's in a very bad condition, barely habitable. But I guess there's a certain area that they managed to maybe clear out. I don't know, like create better conditions in just that area. And since it's a small area, it's kind of a spoiler, by the way, because we don't really know the true reasons for such a project as like this, the parental assessment. But since it's a small area which can provide to just this many people, the government, the state, they call their, came up with this idea of the assessment, which we learn towards the end of the movie that it was actually just another tool for population control. Not actually caring about having better parents in their community, but just because we learned that barely anyone passed that test for the last, I believe, 6 years.
Right, yeah.
And okay, so I want you to speak here, like some like more details, what you liked about the movie, what you didn't like about the movie, and then I will do the same, I think.
I agree with you that it's not all about the idea of assessment before becoming parents. It's true that it has these several different topics. It could seem as, maybe too many at some point. Like you have this assessment thing, you have this dystopic world thing, and you think ecology problems, right? Overpopulation. You have the guy, the husband, the future, no, not future dad, just the guy who wants to be aspiring dad. He's working on some virtual reality where you can have pets that are not available at the moment. We don't see them anywhere. We don't see animals. It looks like they are not there anymore. So he's working on some virtual reality where he makes animals, and then later he actually makes a child. So this topic, of a virtual world where you can have what you want. And it's so real, you can feel it, you can interact with it, this kind of stuff. We have these ideas of like a government controlling people on whether they can have children or not, or controlling them with some medication. So we have a number of topics. It's not all about this assessment. And I don't know if I like it or not. It's like, probably, like, maybe it's something that I like about it. The many topics. What else? I think the actors are great. I haven't seen Elizabeth Olsen for a while in any movies, but she's A great actress, yeah. I
She's
wonder
been
was her
she's
sister
been
in it?
busy with Marvel a lot, I guess. So.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, the Cesar, she's Alicia Vikander. She's a very nice actress. Yeah, her impersonation of a spoiled child is, yes, very annoying, very good. So you totally like question your own desire to become a parent at some point, right? And I think what I liked most were, some questions you have about parenting. It's like they are trying to become the best ever parents. They're trying very hard. They're trying to pass this test as well as possible. But then we also have this scene where they are given some parts of a child's little kind of house that you put inside a flat. Yeah, you can build it with something. And they have one part of it that doesn't fit anywhere. What she does, she just throws it away, trying to solve this kind of situation. This is what kind of, for me, parenting is about. You can't be always perfect. You can't pass all the tests perfectly. And the fact that they are trying so hard, that they already have like a great house, education, money, they have everything, and they are good people, they love each other. I mean, they already have everything. They don't need to pass any tests and try harder, yeah? So, but it's like a question for people to ask themselves. Am I worth like doing something like that? Yeah, raising a child. How can I be better for them, for the future children? What should I do with my life? Yeah, to be worth it. And all these questions are to be asked. At least, I mean, if you as a parent ask yourself these questions, it already means there's some work going on. Yeah, and it's already kind of a very positive thing. Stuff I didn't like. I don't always like when movies raise some emotions in me, although I understand that it means that it's a good movie. But like at some point the scissor was super annoying and you were like, oh god, just let them have what they want. Yeah, they are nice people and stuff. The emotions were there and they were like disturbing. Totally. But I can't say it was something I didn't like about the movie. It was just something that, means that it is a good one, worth watching. Yeah. So what about you?
Yeah, I'll start with what I liked. Also, this movie, they got one award for production design. It was a British Independent Film Award, and I see why. I mean, production design is everything which is connected to the visual parts, the colors in the frame, architecture, partially probably clothing, everything that creates the world around the story. And this is what I liked. I liked the world design.
Absolutely.
I liked this, technologies that you mentioned that Aryan, the husband, works, creating this touchable, but still digital versions of living organisms. I think we see a cat there. He was working on a chimpanzee for a long time. And then, a human baby. Well, actors, I mean, I don't even know what to say. They're brilliant. I like Olsen. I like Alicia almost everywhere. The recent one that I watched was Ex Machina. She was just amazing there. And the guy, Himesh Patel, can't say that I've seen him much, but Yeah, I mean, he did his work very, very well. What else? Yeah, just the fact that this movie explores the topic that you've mentioned and more even. I'm gonna talk about that. So yeah, like ecology situation, technologies. There's the sort of message that technologies can be better and better and better and better, but they will never be successful in replicating. I want to say life, but that's just too simple. I mean, the scene, yeah, like when he creates the baby, Elizabeth's character, Mia, yeah, Mia takes that baby, which what she does first, and like she sniffs the baby, is like, I don't like the smell. Like there's no smell. So there are certain like little things that technology will never be able to replicate / replace.
Nice point.
Yeah. So I guess there's also this like a little idea there. And yeah, like this reveal of this bad state trying to do everything to control to control people, and that there will always be people who are going to be reminiscing about the past, and like the past is always better, and the grass was always greener, and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, there's like a lot of different little things. So let's address the elephant in the room, the test. So the test that for like initially got my attention to this project, and it was just such a piece of shit, and I had very, very strong emotions about it, because as a teacher, I went through something like that. But again, as a teacher, it happened in one of the companies that I worked at, and before they actually let me have lessons with children, they were like, let's do this kind of pretend kind of a lesson.
Oh, many schools do that.
So I was, at the moment, I was just an advisor, because the company was just preparing the school for the lessons, and on paper, they needed some advice from me, because I was the only certified teacher there. But that's a long and different story. So yeah, like the climax of all that, like working in the HQ of the company, was like, let's do this pretend lesson. So I was supposed to give a part of a lesson, be able to like engage kids and everything, but they were not real kids. They were just other office workers, managers, supervisors, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And this is like when, I mean, a lot of companies do that. I mean, the company I'm currently working on, there was also such a thing, but I was just face to face with an adult manager, because now I'm working with adults. And it's okay. I mean, my point is, adults know adults. Yeah, and the managers, like they face different. I mean, they have to deal with different cases. They know how strange, weird people can be. I'm fine with that part that I also went through. But when adults try to act as kids, it's just everything, but not what actually kids do.
True, yes, absolutely.
I've worked with kids. I'm not a parent, but I've worked with kids. I've been around kids for a while. Let's say, yeah, like working at state schools and everything. And even the most annoying students, it wasn't like every day was just horrible experience with them. Like even the kids they were usually from some dysfunctional families. Like even in their case, there were good days, and probably that's, I don't know, too loud to say, but most of the days were actually good, and there were just some disagreements, misunderstandings, and like this kind of stuff. My problem with this test is, like, I mean, someone can say, but like they just got a week. Of course, she has to, like, I mean, the assessor, she has to kind of accompany potential parents through all the like situations that may possibly happen when they are parents. But my problem with this idea is that, so they're going through this like stressful situations, right? And they never have a day of just chilling out. There's just one day that I thought that there's going to be a good one when they go to the beach, but God, I was wrong. Anyway, stress piles up.
Yeah.
So of course, by the end of the test, when you have like 7 subsequent days of just the most awkward, stressful, sometimes dangerous situations, of course you're gonna fuck up. Of course you're gonna get desperate and do something that I don't really want to really mention that scene here, but what Aryan does, yeah, like when Mia was out, and I'm pretty sure that situation was orchestrated by the company.
What do you mean? What does he do?
Do you remember when Mia's got a cold that her sister was in a hospital?
Of course.
Like,
of course.
And she has to attend. There was this sort of like a short dialogue that like, yeah, of course you can go, but the assessment is gonna just stop and kind of you got an automatic failure. But they get into this sort of consensus that you can go there, but be back next day
till the morning
by 7,
or something.
Yeah, by 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And this very night, Virginia, yeah, like the assessor's name, Virginia gets to the Aryan's bedroom, and there's an intercourse happening. And he's like super confused because he's not sure if it was a part of the test in terms of like, am I sleeping with my pretend daughter right now? Or was it just, how to say, was it just, I don't know, I'm not sure how to say that, but like, was it just Virginia kind of trying to get what she wanted and using that, like, yeah, you do this and I will give you an A for the test. Sort of like a bribery situation. So he was confused. And of course, like what he does, I mean, is on any level is just bad, yeah, because at least he's cheating. But at the same time, I think it was day 5 or 6 or something like this, because it was like very, very close to the end. He was just desperate because like the assessor would not give them any sign if they were doing well or not, or it was okay, and you know, this sort of stuff. And I kind of even anticipated that by the end, like day 7, just like, actually, it's okay. I mean, and that the point is of this whole circus is just like nobody's can be perfect. Not as a parent, not as a child, not as a friend, not as a like citizen of your country, whatever. Nobody's perfect in any status. But she was like, no, I mean, you fucked up, so my decision is no, and you're not going to be parents. Which is also like, I have questions to this. I mean, can you like do this again or not? Like sometime later, we don't get answers for this.
Look, I asked you. I asked you to explain what do you think he did, because you said like he did, because I had a different impression of this scene. For me, he was first of all raped by this lady. It's just, yes, he was confused, and she was like, this is for the test. Yeah, you just have to do it because it's part of whatever. So for me, he was, and he was trying so hard to do whatever like it takes to, to pass it, that he kind of maybe didn't fight with her so much. He just agreed to this kind of stuff. But for me, totally, there was no cheating in it. There was no him trying to flirt with her or anything. Yeah, he did love his wife and tried to pass this test to be a happy parent with her, with his wife. So for me, I had a different impression. And then when she tells them, that you did not pass, and she does not explain why. And we don't know because it's not obvious. Even, okay, he did agree to that. They didn't react maybe the way, I don't know, you're supposed to react to a crazy child going on a rampage. I don't know. I think they did everything perfectly, but then we do learn that there was no way of passing it. You could have done, anything, and you wouldn't have passed it because there is no pass in this test. So I don't know. I don't think he did anything out of and I don't think he did anything that was dishonest or that he somehow failed himself as a husband, as a parent, to be parent or something.
I got a different impression of him. I did not like him as a character
really?
because I got an impression that, like, for him, getting a family is just sort of, it's more like an achievement rather than, I'm not sure how to differentiate these things that I'm trying to differentiate. It was like his personal achievement. We know that he tried to get a family before with a different person. They failed. And now he's like, okay, I'm gonna try with a different woman.
Because I need to make it, anyway, just for myself.
So I need to make it
this.
happen in my life to achieve this.
Maybe, yeah.
And I see the situation as like him failing with one woman and then trying to do this with another. It's like, I was not a reason for whatever happened in the he tried to do this previously. So maybe I will succeed with another woman. So it seemed for me like he was just using Mia as a, via Mia he could achieve something that he wanted to achieve. It's just, of course, it just happens that Mia also wanted children, but I guess in this kind of world, a lot of people would like to have children. And as we can see, the last part of the movie is just Virginia, is going to a different, her last family. So, also what I think proves my point is him, after they separate, Mia and Aryan separate, he creates the digital version of the whole family. He creates the child, an older one, and he recreates he recreates the digital version of his wife, Mia, and he seems happy.
Yes, I agree with you that he seemed still always more interested in his virtual world than anything else, and achieving another step in this, for example, area, when he introduced some new technology in this technology, he was like, wow, that's another cool thing. So he truly was more always there in his virtual stuff thing. So yeah, maybe, but yeah, I was trying to also look at him as a husband, as a potential prospective parent. I don't know. For me, he seemed like, no, maybe I was just comparing with the real world, the parents we see nowadays and in the past and in other movies. And also, it's true that some of the most horrible parents have raised amazing, talented, I don't know, whatever children, right?
I'm not trying to say that this is what we all should do, be horrible parents, because there's a high chance that we will raise another Mozart.
Genius. Okay.
It can be pretty much another Mussolini.
No, of course.
But again, as a person who went through pedagogical certification, working with kids, if you even just start studying children's psychology, you will learn pretty quickly from this course that whatever parents do that can influence their children can create, there is a 50, how should I put this? Okay, any given action, any given impact, let's say that, can lead to two completely opposite outcomes.
Yeah.
A very simple example, like super oversimplified example. If your parents smoke and they don't really like address this, like kind of if they don't talk with kids about this, if they don't do anything else absolutely about this,
right.
I think kind of like a clear laboratory experiment here, right?
Okay.
So parents smoke, or like one of the parents smoke. Their child, there's like a 50% chance that they will smoke or they will hate smoking. Same with drinking, same with domestic violence, same with absolutely anything. Like even, I believe that even if the parent tried to sort of like, yes, we do smoke, but kind of you shouldn't do this because it's bad, blah, 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 yada, yada. It's not gonna, like this talking, it's not gonna work because, I mean, you show the example, but any example can be both good example and bad example.
Is there an explanation as how to it works?
I don't remember, probably. But unfortunately, I was not invested into the pedagogical aspect of my education, where I was like more about
there should
linguistics.
be probably an explanation how that.
But yeah, sure, there is but I get it's just because, I mean, of course, parents, it's families, they don't live in a complete laboratory, and there's like other impacts, like for example, drinking, it's kind of a personal thing. Drinking in the family, again, can be same story, that children may just follow their like parents or just relatives' path and also start drinking, have problems with it, or they just start hating this thing so much that they will like never take a drop. And in my case, I mean, I've drunk, but I never let myself like do bad stuff, because I have an example in my family, like people drinking so uncontrollably that would lead to a lot of like stress and problems, for me including. So like, I'm not gonna do this. But absolutely the same scenario, and then in some parallel universe, I'm not sitting here speaking good English and discussing, good movies. I'm just in some bar forgetting my surname. I'm pretty sure of that. I mean, hypothetically, of course.
Does that mean that even if you have these perfect, 100% perfect parents who passed this assessment, or maybe not this assessment, just an assessment that evaluates if they can be the greatest parents ever, if they do that, does it mean that it doesn't mean that they will have a good child, a happy child, I don't know, a successful child?
You're gonna be the perfect parent.
That's true.
But anyone can, or almost anyone. But there are other relatives. They're gonna be friends. They're gonna be teachers. And it does happen sometimes that children are like, okay, so I don't think that my parents are they don't have any authority over me anymore. And I'm gonna be like just the best friends with my uncle / aunt / my first teacher / this guy from school or whatever. And they're going to be just the worst people in the world. But all the empathy will just go, sympathy will just go there, right? and they will, these people, uncle / whatever, they will influence the kids even more. Yeah, and like we got a couple of perfect parents, but father's brother is ass. So, and we've got ass kids. I don't know.
So it means
There's just so many things that can influence. Of course, I don't say that like the parents are powerless, that they just cannot do anything. Of course they can. But they're not the only unknown in this equation. Maybe one of the most important ones, but there are other X's and Y's and Z's in this, in this mathematics. So
does that mean that this kind of assessment doesn't make sense at all?
On so many levels. Like, I understand if it was some sort of maybe either more simple kind of test of like, I expected the film to be more of a dialogue movie of just Virginia talking to people, like talking to Mia first, then Aryan, then together, then something happens, she talks to them again, and I expected this kind of a vibe. I don't remember what book that is from, but this kind of a morality that hell is other people kind of thing. I don't remember what the story was, but it was some kind of about a guy who got into hell, and his hell was just sitting in the room together with his wife and his side affair in the same room, and they were talking. I don't remember what that was from. Please tell me in comments. Enlighten me. I don't remember. So, but instead we got this Virginia, gonna behave as the worst kid on the planet in history, and somehow that's supposed to test people? How? I don't see how are you supposed to prepare for this if not doing this maybe again and again and again? Probably, but you've got one chance, at least as we can see, in the same couple.
We know it was possible, because he's doing it the second time, the guy.
The guy was doing that for the second time, so that's what I'm saying. If you, but what if you you love your wife and you just, I can see a person saying okay, fuck this. I cherish our relationships more than trying to get a baby in this crazy, weird, post-apocalyptic world. So, you've got one shot at this, technically. Even if you divorce, and then, you will have to start from scratch, because it's not about, me already doing this, me already having done this, but it's about dynamics in the family, first of all. Even if we do an experiment and okay, so with my wife now, we can be perfect parents, but for example, with one of my exes, that would be just a disaster, for example, because the dynamics, would be different. That's what is more important. Children also look at how you communicate with each other, and certain traumas, certain damage can be done through that, definitely. So,
Well, it's true. I agree with you that this test just doesn't make sense. And it's the design of the test doesn't make sense because, going back to what you said about schools doing it, where you have to pretend that you are teaching kids when you're teaching adults. I also did that a couple of times, and it doesn't make any sense. You're also supposed to interact with your little pupils, little students, right? And the way they react to you and the way they ask questions or what they feel towards you, this has to be assessed. With children, not with adults pretending to be children. I'd personally feel super awkward all the time. And yeah, you can feel in the movie, this is how they felt all the time. Because literally a woman, a young woman behaving very strangely. How do you react? You react like, what the fuck? What should I do? Right? And there's no pass. It's just, there's no normal way of reacting to it. And another thing is, does it make sense at all to have such an assessment? Because, reproducing, having children is just a biological thing we do, like breathing, like, I don't know, eating, like having sex to have children and so on. And it's just natural. You can't assess if you're healthy enough to have a child, then you can have a child. That's it. That's the point of it, kinda, right? And if you're not, then nature actually kind of made it impossible for you because your genes can't be, transferred healthily to another like living creature. That's the idea. You don't need to assess your bank account or how you behave in awkward situations or whatever. Yeah, it's just you can or you can't. Even with that, we have new technologies that give us like more possibilities, this extracorporeal stuff, and more technologies where actually a woman can have a baby with another woman. So this is all amazing and this is super cool that it's happening, but still it's kind of still the main idea of it's just a natural thing for people to do. There's no assessment of it.
Pretty much. And also, I mean, while you were talking, I came up like with this also thing that, okay, so imagine like even, let's say, the same characters, yeah, they do pass the test.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, actually my argument is not going to work in the world of this. I wanted to say that they pass the test. So let's transfer that to our world.
Okay.
So
okay.
two people love each other. They're like just perfect, like the perfectest people in this world. And of course they pass the test just smoothly. And then they make a baby. 9 months passed. The woman delivers the baby and she's got post-labor depression. Did the test somehow, I don't know, what's the word, foresee it? No, nobody can. Like even the woman, even I think a therapist cannot like, okay, so let's have a session, a couple or 10 or 100 of them before you actually become a mother, and let's check if you are predisposed to such a thing. I believe you cannot, because it's like a lot of chemistry going on in a woman's body, like during the pregnancy, after the labor. It's just a lot of stuff going on. So would that mean that the test failed? And yes and no. That would just prove that it's just like, why? But at the same time, I think in the real world, there is a certain responsibility of people kind of preparing, like starting with their health and finances and mental health and physical health, for a lot of different reasons that I'm not just like even going to, so, but it's on the, how to say, the parents themselves should be responsible for this, not the state, not assessors, anyone. But again, in the movie, we learned that it was not even, they were just trying to reduce or at least kind of stagnate, like in terms of the number of the population, which I don't like when they do this in movies. This is what I also wanted to say before we wandered off, that I don't like when something happens in the movie, like it's the main body of the movie, and then they sort of like, it was just for nothing. Like that wouldn't work anyway.
I get.
I mean, sometimes it works maybe in stories, but like here it seems like why then I was like struggling together with. I was mostly kind of how to say connected with Mia there because again like I hated Aryan from the very start. I don't know why. I just didn't like him. And it's like yeah, it was just like it didn't work anyway. I could sleep with like the whole neighborhood, you know, or I don't like it's very strange. I don't know.
It's true. It was a kind of disappointment in the end, close to the end, that it turned out that like it's just something not so important after all. And you're like, what? I just wanted to comment what you said previously about depression. I know that like you can foresee it, not in all cases, but you can kind of evaluate the psychological condition of the mother. And I know that if the mother had some episodes or like a fragile psyche, it's like likely that there's a percentage that she can have, you know, this depression. But then I agree that sometimes you just can't predict it, and it happens, and such a strong hormonal shift that it just happens. And another thing, I think that's very interesting, what you said about people, you know, preparing, kind of testing, kind of assessing themselves to parenthood. Yeah, taking care of their health, having being financially stable and stuff. And what is the result of such preparation and all this kind of maybe learning about children's psychology? You know, the result is there are less people who become parents. In the developed world, we see that the demography is, decreasing because people are getting, like, people are focused on education, career, financial aspect, health, and then when they're finally ready, or maybe not, you know, you can never be ready, you know, they say. So this is the result. And when we didn't have all this, or in countries where you don't have this, so much of these things like that are less developed, let's say, people tend to have more children and just not
and
prepared.
Some of these children now are Yaster, even Islantimus.
By the way.
Just a joke, of course.
So,
but, I mean, of course, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do this. Like, there are some, like,
no, of course,
yeah, maybe
of course.
in terms of reading up, I don't know, doing therapy and everything, that, like, you will never know if it's actually something that you will need, because even getting your degree, you're like, I don't know, like, if I'm, like, I don't need anything from what I had in the university, really. But like something that you can be easily in control of, like finances, like where you're living, are you gonna have space for children, are you gonna have like school, you know, this sort of stuff, like something that you can change, and you know, something more tangible.
It's very sensible to do that. Of course, it's what we call like conscientious and stuff. But that's the real fact, that this results in people actually having less children, fewer children. Yeah.
And also, I wanted to ask you, did you catch sort of, I don't know, like between the lines, I read this kind of a message that parenting for women is more just this whole campaign, kind of, not just parenting, but like in preparation and like everything. That there was this message that women like struggle much more. There was a little bit of this kind of a tilt in the story that Aryan, he's like, I'm just gonna do myself a digital baby, a digital wife, and I'm just gonna be happy. It kind of gives this idea of this memes, like which says guys literally just can live like this, and there's like a mattress, a console or a computer,
Yes.
a table, sometimes no table,
a virtual, virtual everything.
perfectly if
yes.
it's just a couple of steps from it's called what is it called? There's this term. Oh my god, battle station, right? Like this is my battle station. I mean, where are you sitting? This is your battle station. And but it's like a different interpretation of this idea that like he kind of like he's got his games, that this is how men are complicated, like not complicated rather, right? But Mia, he's like, no, I want to have like real babies that smell like babies. So I'm gonna suffer. I'm gonna become sort of a cinematic martyr and escape this better part of the planet and move to the like worst part of the planet, because in that part of the planet they do not control this part. I mean this aspect of your life. And that was a very strange part in terms of that we literally see that people live in shit there. I mean, they were slipping in some tunnel. I was not even sure what that was. And you were supposed to have a hazmat costume to actually enter this world, a gas mask. But that was a very nice symbol there, by the way, that when she enters this world, like having the mask on and like the costume and everything, but then she just takes this mask off and she's got this like a sigh, not a sigh of relief, but she's like kind of it was now I'm free kind of a impression. While there's this probably toxic winds and nothing grows there and everything. And the guy is like, hey, pixel wife. Yeah, I don't like it's. I was disappointed. I was not offended, but I was just disappointed.
Look, I don't think that I didn't perceive it as a message that women in general want this more and struggle more, and then men are like, I'm gonna, have one mattress and my virtual cat and baby and whatever. I just felt that they wanted to show that there are different sides to it. We have the guy who has this virtual world, and I think that they wanted to, like, the message was that, for some people it's so important they can literally, like, stay there, they can live there. Then we have this mother. I think it could have been possible to also make this character a man, just who really wanted children, and basically she was ready to get rid of her, little greenhouse with some plants. She was like, you destroyed it. Okay, I just really want my baby, so I'm gonna be okay with that. Yeah, I'll do whatever. Yes, I totally agree that there was this kind of very heroic, kind of martyr-like woman. But I don't think that it's because she was a woman and he was a man. It was because there were different aspects to it, like different approaches. Also in real life, I think there are women who are like, I don't have this instinct. I don't want to become a mother. I don't care. And there are men who are like, I need a child. I want to have a son, or a daughter, whatever. So I think that's, for me, I didn't have this message from the movie.
Overthinking that.
But it's true that I agree that there was this conflict, that he was there, he was living in his virtual world, and she was very, very real, and she needed it as though people would need it centuries before her. It's interesting. I read an article some time ago about the future generations, just some person thinking how our future generations will look like. And the author thinks that these people will have like two worlds for them, the real world and the virtual world. Like nowadays we do have the virtual thing. Yeah, we use social media. You are right now listening to us on YouTube and stuff. But the people of the future will have like a very real virtual world and a very real other world, like two separate lives. And this is, I feel, what we see in the movie. Yeah, the guy basically is not with us. He's there with his computer characters.
Don't want to elaborate on that, but maybe there is like a certain also message that this guy is sort of like a god, yeah, because we first see that he created just a cat, then it was a more complex organism, like a chimpanzee, then he creates a baby, then there's like a whole family there. Maybe I don't really want to discuss that. But yeah, well, okay. Well, anyway, I can't say that I'm gonna rewatch the movie at some point, really, or try to get deeper into this. But knowing that just the debut, yeah, I mean, nice entrance. I mean, Fleur Fortuné is not gonna listen to us, but you know, just sending the message.
Let's hope she will.
Universe that go for it. A very like visually stunning movie, good cast.
Yes.
And again, a lot of food for thought. Like, I mean, for me, like, even if I don't agree with certain things in a movie, but it makes me think, it makes me ask myself, what do I think about this? Because maybe I had never thought about that myself. That's cinema.
Yeah.
So do watch the movie if you are not a parent. Do watch this movie if you are already a parent, and let us know what you think about like all this tests and kind of would that work? Is it really this way? I mean, is it really so having a child, you know? Yeah, so whatever. Do we recommend? I think yes. Yeah,
I do recommend.
Just
I
think
do.
about certain stuff. Maybe not the parenting, maybe just this sort of like the general dystopian kind of post-apocalyptic kind of a situation with ecology and everything.
Yeah, maybe just to watch, for the sake of watching something like that. Yeah. It's a nice
watch. A little postscriptum, by the way, about this martyrship of Mia there. She did, like, Arian didn't lose shit. She did. I mean, she had this botanical kind of a laboratory garden there, and because of this test, like she lost everything. Everything just burned. That's why maybe I think that was the scene that kind of like clicked me. It's like, oh my god, really? Like she lost everything. He's got his like computer room still, and it's like, of course, yeah, you were the victim, and man bad, woman good, you know, kind of. But I'm just joking, kids. Sorry, guys. So it's that's it, folks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I guess, and
thank you so much.
Watch the movie. Let us know what you think, and we'll bring something even better next time.
Okay. Thank you, and see you soon. Stay tuned. Bye.